Here's the thing, personalization is no longer a nice to have, it's the price of entry. If your platform, your app, your content does not feel tailored to the individual the moment they open it, you've already lost their attention. The scroll continues, the tab gets closed, and the brand is forgotten. And yet, most companies still treat personalization like a campaign, a feature, like a filter you slap on top. When in reality, the companies getting it right, companies like YouTube, for example, have made it part of their infrastructure and their operating system. Let me show you why that matters. You open YouTube, and that first video it shows you is exactly what you needed. It speaks to your mood, your interests, your timing. And it feels uncanny, almost like it read your mind. That's not magic. That's machine learning. That's real time data. And that's years of investment in personalization infrastructure. Now, let's flip that experience. You visit an online newspaper. You are bombarded with banner ads for a mattress you searched for once 6 months ago, and the articles feel stale, disconnected from your interests, and the homepage looks exactly the same for everyone. It's jarring and it's a problem, but it's not a marketing problem, it's a data problem. And I see it every day when advising companies that want to do AI but haven't done any groundwork. So, today I want to talk about what great personalization actually means, why some brands like YouTube have nailed it, and what the rest of us need to do to close the gap. Let's start with what personalization really is. And it's not putting someone's first name in a subject line. Real personalization is about using data to respond to signals in real time. It's about understanding not just who your customer is, but what they are doing right now, what their context is, and what they are likely to do next. When YouTube recommends something, it's not just using your watch history. It's considering the time of day, what you've searched for recently, what users like you are watching, and how likely you are to engage. Its models are optimizing not for a click, but for watch time, satisfaction, and long term retention. And that's where most brands fall short. They often have vast amounts of data, tens of millions of user profiles, detailed interaction histories, full purchase journeys, but no ability to connect those dots in a meaningful way. The systems don't talk to each other. Behavioral data lines in one platform, CRM data in another, and content interactions are siloed entirely. As a result, even with all that information, the experience ends up feeling generic. Not because the business lacks insight, but because that insight is not accessible or actionable in the moment that matters. Now, how do we fix this? How do you go from generic to genuinely personalized? This is where I want to go a bit deeper because too often we stop at the strategy and forget the systems. The first step is integration. Most companies collect the right data, but they collect it in silos. Your first job is to unify it. That means bringing behavioral data, transactional data, contextual signals, and customer feedback into a single coherent view. And no, that does not mean one giant dashboard. It means building infrastructure where data can flow between systems in real time. And that brings me to the second point, speed. If your data is batched processed once a day, you are already behind. Personalization that works happens in the moment. When a user takes an action, your system should respond within seconds. That requires event based architectures. Think stream processing and not daily reports. Think systems that can process and react to data the moment it arrives and not hours later. Think architectures that support real time ingestion, transformation, and activation of user events across multiple platforms. The technology to do this is well established. The real challenge is whether your company is designed to make use of it. That means aligning your teams, your data flows, and your delivery channels around responsiveness and not just reporting. But even fast data is not enough if you are not learning from it. This is where machine learning comes in. And I'm not talking about black box AI that nobody understands. I mean clear, measurable models that predict what a user might do next. Models that evolve as they get feedback. Models that are trained not once a quarter, but continuously based on real outcomes. I've seen clients try to hand code personalization rules. Things like if a user clicks this, show them that. And while that works at first, it doesn't scale. You end up with a logic maze. What you need is a system that gets smarter over time, a recommender system that uses collaborative filtering or deep learning or reinforcement learning to adjust itself based on user behavior. And none of this works if you don't close the loop. One of the biggest gaps I see in AI personalization efforts is the absence of feedback. Companies send out recommendations, but they don't track what happens next. Did the customer click? Did they convert? Did they bounce? That feedback is gold and it should feed directly back into your models. The best systems treat personalization like a living organism. Data comes in, intelligence is applied, action is taken, and results come back. That loop runs continuously. So, to summarize, if you want to get personalization right, you need unified data, real time infrastructure, adaptive models, and feedback loops. Miss any one of those, and your system will struggle. YouTube gets it right because it invested in all four. Most companies invest in one or two, and that's the difference. It's not about hiring a data scientist and hoping for the best. That approach often leads to isolated experimentation without any real impact on the customer experience. The data scientist becomes the magician in the corner, running models on stale data with no connection whatsoever to the systems that actually touch the users. Instead, you should consider building an ecosystem, a tightly integrated environment where your data sources, your decision engines, your delivery channels, and your measurement loops all work in concert, where marketing, product, engineering, and data teams are aligned not just around metrics, but around moments in the customer journey. A system where a customer's action triggers a data flow, informs a decision in milliseconds, and delivers a tailored response while capturing the result for ongoing learning. It's about operationalizing intelligence. When you build that kind of ecosystem, personalization stops feeling like a guesswork or a gimmick. It becomes a core part of your value proposition. It becomes invisible and incredibly effective. And that's when customers start to feel understood and not trapped. Served, not sold to. And that's the real opportunity. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.